Thank you very much. A very kind introduction. And thank you to the Valley Forge Patriots. You've got a wonderful organization here. And yes, my name is Marc, and I am a candidate for the Republican nomination to the United States Senate in 2012. And I'm asking Republican voters all across Pennsylvania to allow me the opportunity to replace Robert Casey as your United States Senator. And I'm doing this because I believe I will bring a new independent spirit and perspective to our nation's capital. Now, I'm not a career politician. I have never held elective office. And I'm not the son of a governor. I'm the son of a traveling salesman from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who worked his entire life and raised a family of 6 on full commission pay. No salary, no benefits. My dad didn't get up every morning and go to work and sell furniture at the beginning of the month. There would be no paycheck for us at the end of the month. And it's that type of pay that teaches a man the values of hard work and perseverance in living within one's means. And these values are sorely missing in Washington, D.C. today. In the first part of my adult life, I was immersed in politics, from campaigns to governing. I worked in both legislative and executive branches. I worked in both capitals, in Harrisburg and in Washington, D.C. I worked in the United States Senate in Washington, in the very office currently occupied by Senator Casey. In the second part of my adult life, I became a lawyer with a general law practice and an owner of a small law firm. We are very small but very proud. I know how hard it is to run a small business because I do it every day. Now, over the past 2 years, I've been watching. I've watched as President Obama and Senator Casey have used the financial crisis of 2008 as an excuse to preside over the largest and most intrusive expansion of the federal government since the New Deal. From their bailout of Wall Street, to their stimulus spending to protect special interest groups, to their takeover of private companies and industries, and to the abomination known as Obamacare. President Obama and Senator Casey have launched an assault on our economy, on our liberties, on our freedoms, and on the very American way of life. After 2 years of Barack Obama and Robert Casey, what have they given us? They've given us a $14 trillion national debt. That is $50,000 of debt for every man, woman, and child in America today. I have 3 children, all of whom are under the age of 5. That's $50,000 of debt for each of them. That's $150,000 of debt that they start out in their lives having to repay. And I ask myself, what did my children do to deserve this? Nothing. President Obama and Senator Casey have given us a national debt that now requires $1 trillion of payments every year just to pay the interest on the debt. They've given us trillion-dollar budget deficits as far into the future as the eye can see. They've given us the highest long-term unemployment rate in the past 60 years. They've given us an economy that is on the edge of falling back into another recession. They've brought this nation to the edge of financial ruin. Our creditors in China, in Japan, and Europe, and around the world, they are astounded at this president's borrowing and spending. The Europeans are now lecturing us to spend less. President Obama is now saying he needs us to give him more money so that he can spend more. He is threatening the taxpayers, saying that if we don't increase the ceiling on the debt limit, then we, the taxpayers, are going to plunge this nation into the Second Great Depression. Well, Mr. President, as you're so fond of saying, let me be perfectly clear. It is your policies that are destroying this country. It is your policies that have brought this nation to the edge of financial ruin. You know, this is what I've been watching over the past 2 years. But I've also been watching as millions of Americans have been awakening to what's happening to our country. Tea parties have been forming all across America. And I am one Republican who is proud of the Tea Party movement. These are everyday, average Americans who are very concerned. They're taking time out of their busy lives to voice concern about the direction of our country under the Obama administration. And I believe the Tea Party movement is the best thing to happen to the Republican Party since Ronald Reagan changed his voter registration from Democrat to Republican. Go ahead, you may applaud. And I believe the Tea Party movement is critical to helping the Republican Party complete the Reagan Revolution and restore our country to the principles established by our founding fathers. And I want to thank the Tea Parties for the electoral victories in 2010 and for putting us in a position to take over the United States Senate and the presidency in 2012. And in fact, it's the Tea Party movement that ultimately caused me to decide to run for this office. I want to join the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Americans who are speaking out and stepping up and trying to take our country back. And this is why I feel called out of my private life and compelled to re-enter politics, to go to Washington, D.C. to stop the Obama-Casey agenda in its tracks. Now, a good leader knows the right way to go and has the courage to lead the country there. But we must ask ourselves, do we have leaders with courage? Does anybody believe Governor Christie of New Jersey has courage?
Yes.
Does anyone believe Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin has courage? By the way, these two men are modern-day heroes who we should all admire and aspire to be. Does anybody believe that Senator Casey has courage? Where has Senator Casey shown political courage? What has Senator Casey fought for? When has Senator Casey stuck out his neck and risked his political career, like Governor Christie and Governor Walker, to do what may be unpopular, but is right for the country? A good leader leads his country in the right direction. Does anyone believe Senator Casey is leading in the right direction? Does anybody believe Senator Casey is leading anywhere? Senator Casey not only does not know how to lead, he does not have the courage to lead. Instead, he is simply following as President Obama leads our country down the path to ruin. Senator Casey has voted in lockstep with President Obama's agenda, with one exception. Senator Casey does not believe that President Obama is spending enough. The President submitted this 2012 budget proposal, which calls for a $1.6 trillion deficit for 2012. It calls for annual deficits in the trillions. It doubles the national debt in 10 years. Senator Casey's response is that it doesn't spend enough. Senator Casey actually sent President Obama a letter pleading with him, saying, don't cut so much. Please understand this. Senator Casey wants to spend more than President Obama. Senator Casey supports more borrowing of money we don't have to spend it on wasteful programs we don't need and should never have had in the first place. Senator Casey supports using taxpayer dollars to bail out union pension plans because the unions did not fund their own pensions. He's doing this while millions of non-union workers have seen their retirement plans and 401ks plummet in value. If Senator Casey gets his way, the taxpayers will have to kick in at least $165 billion to bail out unfunded union pension plans. Senator Casey wants to nationalize regulation of the Marcellus Shale and put it under the Environmental Protection Agency. Is any industry safe when under the Environmental Protection Agency? If the EPA shuts down the Marcellus Shale, this will close the door on billions of dollars in economic development for Pennsylvania. It will cost hundreds of millions of dollars in lost state and local tax revenue. It will cause the loss of tens of thousands of jobs that Pennsylvanians desperately need. Speaking of the EPA, Senator Casey wants to impose cap-and-trade through the EPA. This will impose a massive new tax and regulatory scheme on the American economy, will cause massive job losses in manufacturing, mining, agriculture, and other industries. Will lead to big increases in the price of consumer goods, including everything from the groceries you buy at the market to the price that you pay for gas at the pump. From his mistaken belief that borrowing and spending will cause economic growth, to his strong support for taxpayer bailouts of industries and organized labor, to his support for new and more complex regulations that are stifling businesses and industries. Senator Casey is advocating European-style socialism as a cure for America's ills. But Senator Casey's cure is more of the same policies that have caused this illness in the first place. Senator Casey is helping to enact the failed past policies of the European social welfare state. At the same time, the Europeans are abandoning them. I believe we are living right now in an historic moment in our nation's history. We have a president in Barack Obama and a senator in Robert Casey who are trying to transform our country into something our founding fathers never intended for it to be. We have a president in Barack Obama and Senator Casey who are trying to transform a free and independent and proud and prosperous people into dependents and wards of the state. This is the Obama-Casey agenda. This is what we must stop. My political philosophy is this: we must rededicate ourselves to the principles of our founding fathers. We must restore the constitutional republic they created and bestowed upon us, where the federal government understands its role is not to make us safe or take care of us. Its role is to ensure that we remain free. A federal government that understands it doesn't grant us rights, that our rights are bestowed upon us by our Creator. A government that protects the individual and God-given rights of the American people, that protects the right to life, the right to bear arms, and the right to private property, that maintains individual rights for all, not special rights for a privileged few, that maintains a free enterprise system, that stays out of matters the Constitution places in the hands of the states and the people, that defends and protects its borders, because a nation without borders is no longer a nation. A government that adheres to a foreign policy based upon the principle that we are a republic, we're not an empire. An American first foreign policy that puts the national security interests of the American people first. I want a humble, chastened government that understands its power comes from the consent of the governed. It comes from us, the people. A government that adheres to the fundamental principle upon which this country was founded, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because that is what America is all about. That is what makes America great. That is why America is exceptional. That's what makes America that shining city on the hill. That is what I love about being an American, and that is why I'm running for the United States Senate. Thank you. We have time for questions.